One person has died and others have been injured when a Singapore Airlines flight hit severe turbulence. The flight, which was traveling from London to Singapore on Monday, was diverted to Bangkok. Emergency services and paramedics were waiting on the ground to attend to passengers. Andrew Charlton is the managing director of the consulting business Aviation Advocacy. You're joining us from Cluny in France. It's extremely rare to hear of somebody dying as a result of turbulence. What do we need to know at this very early stage?
Well, thank you, Cyril. It is extremely rare. One hears of turbulence and one hears occasionally of injuries, but death is most unusual. I'm struggling to remember one in my 35 years in aviation. The thing we need to know, even at this early stage, the thing we'll need to know at the end of this investigation, the thing we must never forget is wear your safety belt. Do your safety belt up, even when you're just sitting on the aeroplane. We don't know anything yet, although there are reports that the aircraft was coming into thunderstorms. That's always a big hint that there could well be turbulence. It's a tropical area, so thunderstorms are quite normal. And we were also experiencing one of the great causes of turbulence, which is a change in air temperature, which could be caused by the air, lower down air, cooling down as the day ends and the night starts, and it therefore becoming colder than the air above it, which then causes the air to need to change because, of course, it always runs in layers. It could have been caused by the aircraft coming over mountains and other things, which causes eddies and all sorts of other different pieces of air to be moving around. Or it just could have been what often causes turbulence, which is literally the friction between two bodies of air as they move, one moving in one direction and one moving in the other.
Turbulence it's very common. Anybody who's flown on a handful of flights in their life, they've experienced turbulence. And planes it's uncomfortable, but planes are built to withstand it. It's never no longer applies. But I was going to say it's never life-threatening.
It's almost never like that, absolutely. Turbulence is common because, of course, as I said, turbulence is caused by reactions in the air, which in turn are impacted by the outside temperature, by what's going on in the ground underneath it, storms, all sorts of things like that. But you are absolutely right, Cyril, and I think this point is really worth making. Aircraft are built to withstand incredible amounts of turbulence, and often the turbulence that you and I experience sitting on an aeroplane and you think, oh gosh, this is a bit turbulent, that's still rated as really slight or moderate. Aircraft are able to withstand really quite severe amounts of turbulence. That's the airframe. But as I say, for the passengers, wear your safety belt.
Yeah, and so this happened on a Singapore Airlines flight. Singapore Airlines has one of the most enviable reputations for safety in the aviation world.
Absolutely.
All right.
It can happen to anyone. I mean, when you fly through the air, that's what causes turbulence, is being in the air, of course. But yes, absolutely. Singapore Airlines are not the sort of people who will voluntarily fly through a thunderstorm. There's no reason to fly through a thunderstorm in peacetime, as old Air Force aviators will tell you. They don't take stupid risks. Sometimes the turbulence is visible on the radar, and as I say, a storm is usually pretty good evidence of the likelihood of turbulence. But sometimes it's to do with air temperature changes moving on a horizontal basis, and the radar will simply not pick it up. So, yes, Singapore Airlines, very young aircraft, very strong aircraft, very well-trained, very conservative crews, a really quite remarkable set of circumstances for this to have happened.
All right, Andrew Charlton, Director of the consulting business Aviation Advocacy. Thank you very much for joining us this hour.
Wear your safety belt. Wear your safety belt.
Absolutely. We heard your message. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.